be playing.
So back to your album, One Night. Is this your first major commercial release?
Yes, it is. It is. It's my debut CD, One Night, and I'm very proud of it. I have had very good coverage from many different critics, and it has been being played all over the world. Some stations in France have played some pieces, and Kutztown Radio now is playing pieces, and so it has had I have felt very warm with the result of how people have listened to it and enjoyed it.
That was kind of going to be my next question. I was going to ask the response you've gotten so far to it. You know, radio-wise, you're doing fine. Public-wise, sale-wise, I guess you're satisfied?
Well, sale-wise is not something that you can really focus on right now in the industry because the industry is changing so much. It's much more internet-based.
Absolutely.
And so CD sales are down, and plus just how the economy is, places are closing up. I was in the Virgin Mega Store in Times Square. My CD was being sold, and now that is not existing anymore.
Right.
And so if it's happening here in New York City, it has to be happening nationwide and stuff.
So is that and I ask this question to almost every artist I interview. Is this is the climate that we're in now of concern to you as a musician? I mean, jazz radio stations are becoming harder to find. People aren't buying CDs as much as they used to anymore. Does that concern you at all, or will the jazz fans stick together and keep this genre alive?
Well, jazz will always be around. Sometimes it is the smallest sliver in the pie when you're looking at the music industry.
Yeah.
So if you are looking at putting a CD out and that's going to be paying your rent, you probably are wrong.
Right. Right.
I feel that when you are doing something like this, you are not thinking about how much money you're making from it. You are putting your feelings and your effort out of what it is that you want to express as an artist, and at that time, whatever proceeds from it, because it's another growing for us being an artist of where we're going to revolve to make our next compositions or how we're performing and teaching and everything.
Yeah. So is this, if this is not too personal of a question, you were saying this, being a musician in this day and age, especially a jazz musician, really can't pay the rent. Is this what you do professionally, or do you do other things on the side, like travel or tour, or what makes Marsha Haight tick?
Well, when you are a freelance musician here in New York City, you usually have your hands in everything, as the saying is.
Right.
And so that means that you are performing and that you are recording and that I have a base of private students that I teach here in the city. And I freelance as a teaching artist during the year, which that's what many artists do, which is where you would come in and teach something as a specialty program, as mine would be jazz, or, I can take on different teaching, specs of things. So I'm doing everything. I'm composing. Just in the last couple of weeks, I just did a recording for a dance company. You just keep yourself open. So if somebody wants me to be playing, recording in a reggae band, I'm ready to go. And then the next day it could be playing in a big band. So it completely varies. And that's a wonderful thing because it keeps you on your toes to be very full-rounded all the time.
So you're plenty busy.
Some days I'm like, okay, what day is it and where am I going?
I know how that feels. So one of my final questions: what advice would you have for not necessarily young, anybody who wants to pursue music as a career, but might be afraid to, given the rough climate we're in for music, or for anything for that matter? What advice would you have?
Well, first of all, to always stay focused upon what it is that you want as your goal. And then just keep pursuit of it, and just keep yourself available to be doing anything. And I always would say, always make sure you're prepared and on time. That is always the biggest thing for when you're working with musicians, that you're on time, because the gig starts at a certain time, and if you're late, you're not going to be getting called back again.
Absolutely.
So, because there are thousands of musicians, and sometimes the bigger criteria can be that maybe the person might not be as talented, but they'll always be on time and being responsible.
Absolutely.
So,
very good advice. So where can we learn more about you? This is your time to plug your venues, your website. Take it away.
Well, I have a website that you can do, www.marciahate.com. And on that also, since I am from the Berks County area,
right,
I put on actually Pennsylvania Dutch recipes.
Oh, that's cool.
So, like seasonally, like what you might eat during that season there, since there are so many from the fresh vegetables at the Amish sands and stuff. And anyways, I'm also on YouTube, where you can be seeing performances. Actually, I performed at Gerald Beasley's Jazz Bass in Reading, Pennsylvania, last year with my band, and there's 2 songs on from there, and also from playing at the Iridium, which is a jazz club here in New York City. And that performance had my string section on also, which I love performing with the strings. And I'm also on MySpace and Facebook.
All right.
For Marcia Hate. So you can find me many places, and I have a blog also on my website where I blog places that I go to, sometimes in Pennsylvania, or nightclubs here in New York City, different things.
All right, well, we'll definitely check that out, marciahate.net. And I want to thank you so much for talking to me. We're going to keep playing your new CD one night, and you keep, doing what you do and making great music, and we wish you all the best. Once again, for information on Marcia Hate, marciahate.com. That's marciahate, HEYDT.com. Thanks for listening to the Diversity Rest Stop here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR. For more information about diversity and cultural events around campus and around the area, visit www.kutztown.com.